Here we are again with another episode of Mr. Keep It Real Real Estate, man. Of course, I'm Leroy Thompson, and
I'm Ray Jackson.
Ray Jackson is the owner, CEO of Xperts Title. She's well trusted in the real estate industry when it comes to real estate attorneys, title companies. What else? You got so much going on.
We do. So I'm the CEO of Realtor Law Group,
okay,
which is our full service real estate law firm. Title Xperts,
okay,
which is our full service title insurance and settlement firm. Model Mortgage Experts, which is our mortgage brokerage. And Transaction Xperts, which is our transaction coordination company.
Oh, man, that's a lot of stuff, man. Like, I can't remember it all.
And
man.
Xperts University, which is our training and coaching program for realtors.
So you got real estate, like far as realtors, all the way up to mortgages, title, the whole nine.
Soup to nuts.
What about inspector?
No inspectors. My husband's a broker.
Okay.
He also has property management and construction.
Okay. So y'all got it sold up. One stop shop, right?
One stop shop.
All right, we gotta get on y'all level.
Yep.
All right. So look, I got.
We call it dirt to disposition. Dirt to disposition.
What that mean? Though?
Dirt, ground. So you build up. Disposition is sale.
Okay. And that
management in between.
Okay. Yeah.
Dirt to disposition.
Yeah, I'm about to read your book on that one. So look, I got Miss Ray in here today, man. Look, we had a debate about a month ago.
Yeah.
About transaction coordinating. I've been doing real estate for about 6 years now. Done a lot of transactions on my own. Every last transaction I did, every deal I closed, sale or whatever, I did it on my own without a transaction coordinator. I was introduced to a transaction coordinator probably like year one, and my take on it, man, was no, I want to be more hands-on with my clientele, with my customers. I want to see them from the beginning to the closing table, man. All those celebrations at the closing table with the balloons, drinks, TVs, whatever it is. I wanted to be there for that experience, man, because I wanted my customers to let their friends and family know when they're dealing with me, hey, Leroy's going to be there, man, morning, noon, and night. Just call him. So I felt like a transaction coordinator would detach me from my clientele, from my customers. Yeah, I take them to see a house, get them under contract, and then turn them over to this person that nobody ever met or know. I just felt like, no, I didn't want to do that. That was a disservice to my community. So I'd never used a transaction coordinator. And now, fast forward to me and you.
Having a conversation.
Yeah, I gave my take on it, and you put me in my place with it. I'm not somebody who easily put in place. So I had to bring you on the show, man, just to explain a little more about transaction coordinator and how it helps us realtors better our business and be able to get on our feet and find that next deal.
Absolutely. So I'm a huge proponent of transaction coordinators. And then to speak to your initial thought process regarding transaction coordinators, I know for sure there's a misunderstanding and just really a dearth of lack of understanding about what a transaction coordinator does. I'm always surprised when I find realtors who don't know about transaction coordinators. I'm like, how could you not? I think it's like the best thing ever. I mean, think about all the things that you have to do as a realtor, right? And where I start from it, to your point, saying you want to provide this high level of service for your clients, where transaction coordinators help you do that. Because once you go under contract, your highest and best use is not pushing papers back and forth. Your highest and best use is not communicating with the title company, the inspector, and all those different ancillary service providers. You need to be speaking to your client, or getting the next deal.
Helping somebody else in the
helping
community.
Someone else.
I mean, that's what. Honestly,
and you're only one person.
What I really took from the whole conversation, where you got me at, was you don't have to pay a transaction coordinator.
Jesus!
To the deal close.
Every time, listen to me. As a person that employs full-time staff, that must be paid whether we close a deal or not. Right?
Yeah, realtors.
Every time I discuss this point, I always say I'm a little bit jealous. Right. Because you guys can have, just in general, do you know that payroll is your highest line item as a business owner? Yes. As a business owner. And so as a realtor, being able to cut your payroll is huge.
And that would open my eyes, because I mean, just as a realtor, if you didn't know, there's a cost to be a real estate agent, man. There's a lot of realtors that go a long time without doing deals. I heart for those realtors because I do know they're on the back end. They have fees that they're paying, whether it's desk fees. You definitely have to pay your board fees to be part of any type of real estate brokerage. So they're kicking out money. I would say we're kicking out money every month. And if no money is coming in, like how do we have room to add another employee, which is a transaction coordinator? So when you said you don't have to pay them until the deal closes, I'm like, shoot, let me hear it. Tell me more.
Tell me more. That's a hallmark of transaction coordination services. If they get paid when you get paid. Okay. And so, I mean, they're just as vested in the deal as you are. Okay. And so, I mean, it's just, that's the nature of our industry in general. And the title agent doesn't get paid until closing. The realtor doesn't get paid until closing. The lender doesn't get paid until closing. The transaction coordinator doesn't get paid until closing. So there's so many.
So who get paid without the closing?
Who gets paid before? It depends. So
you got the inspector,
the appraiser,
the surveyor.
Sometimes the surveyor. Sometimes,
oh.
Yeah. Because some of them, they will even waive the fee. If the transaction doesn't close, it's a wash.
I didn't know that.
It depends on your surveyor. Okay. Your more, I guess you would say, seasoned surveyors, they allow for that. So they're paid at closing. Mm-hmm. But in general, 99% of us who are involved in real estate, we're paid at closing. And so the transaction coordinators kind of just continue in that vein as well.
Okay. So what I like to do, of course, my channel is Mr. Keep It Real. I like to keep it real. Mm-hmm. I done told a lot of people in the real estate world don't use a transaction coordinator. So if it would be wrong for me to go ahead and start using transaction coordinator and not rewrite my wrongs. So
okay.
Hey, listen, transaction coordinator is where it is. I'm going to start using them. I actually just signed up my first deal with a transaction coordinator. Right. I'm looking forward to working with it. If you don't know what transaction coordinator does or their responsibilities are, you want to explain it?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
So first of all, you can traditionally a transaction coordinator from contract to close. Once you go under contract, the transaction coordinator, I forgot what to
It don't matter.
The transaction coordinator, the first thing they'll do is they will introduce themselves to the parties. Mm-hmm. Oh wow, mm-hmm. You just said you didn't want some random person communicating with your clients. The first thing that they do is they will introduce themselves. Congratulations. And look how professional they make you look. They say, I am Donna Summers, I am Leroy Thompson's transaction coordinator. So now it's like,
I'm a boss.
Exactly. You're a real boss.
Okay.
And so they make that introduction. They'll also, depending upon your branding and your process, because this is the other thing, with a transaction coordinator, you can start making your servicing of the client very high touch, mm-hmm. right? So you can have a nice branded, you're on the contract, now what? And it can be a streamline for a buyer or a seller, right?
For escrows and anything like that.
Everything. So at every juncture in the transaction, your transaction coordinator is sending out another guide, mm-hmm. right? And so again, now you're looking like a real boss. Right. You're looking like a very professional boss. Right. The next most important thing that they do is they start doing an abstract of the contract timeline dates. What are the deadlines? The first thing that they're going to measure is what is your contract effective date. That is always an area of it's the most important point you need to make first.
Yeah, everybody because we get 2 months down the road because all these extensions we don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So we're all excited and like, oh yeah, we see you at the closing table, right? Mm-hmm. And we're all best friends until 2 months down the line we have a dispute as to when the loan approval is due. And I think the effective date is the 14th. You think it's the 16th or the 15th. And we have a problem.
Yeah, you counting all those days that supposed to have been only business days or either.
Whatever's the case. Right. And so the transaction coordinator, that's one of the first things they're going to do. They're going to do an abstract of your contract timeline. What are your deadlines, first of all? Okay. Secondly, after the introduction of that timeline, they're going to watch that timeline like a hawk.
Make sure everybody in compliance.
They are going to watch that timeline like a hawk.
I love it. I'm with it.
He's like, I'm taking my beating.
Yeah.
So just imagine. I don't know how many deals you're trying to do, but me, I'm trying to do as many deals as I can. And can you imagine trying to manage the timeline of 20 transactions? That just does not. That's not.
Try 5 at one time.
Exactly, and you're already lost. And so they're watching that timeline like a hawk. what about you are, now let's think about all the parties that are involved in the transaction. You may possibly have 2 buyers, 2 sellers, 2 realtors. If the realtors have a transaction coordinator, there's 2 more people.
Attorneys.
You have attorneys, lenders, how many people at title. If you're on the buy side, you got the inspector, right? And so so there's a lot of people that are involved, and there's a lot of people that are going to be asking for information.
Right.
So like you said, let's go on the low end. Let's multiply that by 5.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
And you're just trying to go get the next deal. And they're pinging you, telling me, can you get this information sheet back over to us?
So imagine my pain. Like I'm doing all that and going to get the next deal. So it ain't take me long. And I will apologize to my wife later because she been trying to get me to use a transaction coordinator. But that's another conversation. But well, I'm glad when we on that road, and we will be using
the transaction coordinator. But there's more. Okay, so they're watching your timeline. What about that inspector? They're helping you order if it's on the buy side.
But what about, with inspections, when it comes to negotiations, that's when I get back into.
I'm so glad you brought that point. Absolutely. So that's part of a misunderstanding as well. So some realtors believe, like, I just put a transaction coordinator on and I'm out of there. Like, no. You're still the realtor. You're still 100% responsible for the outcome of that deal, right? The compliance, the legalities, etc. And so 100% the transaction coordinator is going to loop you in on negotiations. Now, they may do a draft of your addendum that you have to approve and finalize and then send to the clients.
I like that.
Of course, because you're out getting the next deal.
Right.
Who wants to have, I know you have your laptop on you. You may try and do it through your phone, but who wants to stop and do that when you can get on the phone and dictate that to your transaction coordinator like a big old boss, right? So he's picturing this already.
I want this inspection to go bad, but I want to try this thing out.
So yeah, to answer your question, you are still responsible as the realtor for making the decisions in your transactions.
Okay. Well, we're going to be using it, man. And, glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you cleared that up. Again, I'm going to use it. On my channel, we usually try to keep it to about 15 to 20 minutes, man. And that's another major topic I want you to cover, man, because I feel like I've been experiencing it. I've seen some realtors that's been in the real estate for years on experiencing this. What does a retirement look like for a real estate agent, man? Like, I'm not nowhere near there, but I'd like to think ahead sometime. Like, in your expertise and all the businesses that you have, what does it look like retirement?
Well, it can look as good or as bad as you prepare for it to be, if that makes sense.
Before you start, I would say my retirement is more so retiring with maybe 10 to 15 properties that I'm managing for myself. Yeah. Okay. Because I love what I do, day-to-day real estate, but it's just something in any business. I feel like it's never forever. So I don't know if retirement, because you see it through more of an instructor, all type of eyes. I don't know if it's passing a business down to your kids.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. There are realtors that do that. Yeah. That pass, they've built a brand. They'll bring on their kids or child or maybe someone else. There's a book called The Golden Handoff. And it really talks about that part of it, where you built a business, you have this clientele, you have a book of business. Do you just let that drop, or do you hand it off?
Or sell it.
Or sell it, absolutely.
Yeah, cause it was an agent I knew. She was with a company that was close to with us, and she ended up going to another company, but I say, well, I know the company you're at, they pretty good, and you're gonna go to this other company. Tell me what's going on? Oh, the lady, she's been in real estate for 40 some years or whatever. She has this big pipeline portfolio, and she's tired. She just wanted to find somebody, and I did a deal with her, and she brought me on and we discussed things, and she's just gonna turn the business over to me, and I think it's an opportunity for me, so I'm gonna take it. I was like, wow, who would give somebody that whole pipeline like that? But since then, I've been thinking, like, what is retirement? Like, we building all this business up. We helping all these people. Every deal we close, we guaranteed to get at least 3 or 4 referrals from that person. So it's just going to continue to grow. Like, where's the cutoff line? Is there a cutoff line? And I think it's more so, if you want it to be a cutoff line, do you want to keep it family oriented, or do you want to move on from real estate? Like, with me, I think it's more so, as much as I help people purchase and sell homes, I want to be on that side of the fence sometimes too. Just purchase my home, and then we get a certain amount of homes where it's just too much work to do both. I think that's what retirement looks for us.
Well, property management. I personally, so I know what you're gonna say.
No, but property management, that's part of retirement, because now I'm fully free. I mean,
That's my point.
Okay.
So I'm just
Okay.
touching on that point where you say, well, too many properties for us to manage. Well,
Yeah,
it shouldn't.
property management.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
I'm back in real estate then. If,
Well, no, you're not managing it. You're hiring a property
okay.
manager.
Okay. That's something to think about. But I ain't nowhere near retiring yet, man. Look, all those referrals, just keep on sending them, man. We're going to keep piling them up, man. And we're going to have everybody like Miss Ray Cole. Y'all see the type of professionals we got on our side. So tune in to every episode, man. Any comments or questions you may have, man, just drop it in the comment box. We always checking our social medias and everything, man. And we'll get back to you. We like to communicate, man. Sometimes you might be on this next show. So keep in touch, and we'll be in touch.